On May 25th, the Cathedral Church of the Holy Trinity begins its 200th anniversary celebration of dedication. So join us on the 25th of each month for glimpses of our past as we imagine and dream our way into the future. Take a glimpse with us as we celebrate. Look out on all of our social media platforms for glimpses of Holy Trinity Cathedral.
I am Shelah Workman. My glimpses of the Holy Trinity Cathedral. My Christian experience began at Holy Trinity Cathedral. Yes, I grew in a church, but having gone abroad from age 20, it became challenging to find a church. So later, I decided that it was no longer relevant. After being trained as a nurse and midwife, I soon married. My husband and I relocated here with an 18-month-old daughter who was baptized in an EC church while in England. One day, I suddenly thought she should have a church experience just as I did. After all, church was part of my formation and it was partly responsible for my values. Soon after, we attended a 7:30 a.m. service at Holy Trinity. My daughter was 6 years old at the time, and the experience was very positive. I felt that I really needed it for myself. So we would seldom miss a Sunday morning service. Later, we were confirmed at separate times by the Lord Bishop Clive Abdullah. We became Anglican Christians and grew in our love for the Lord and the church. I loved the Bible readings and the organ, the combination of the Old Testament, the Psalm, the Epistle, and the Gospel, all at the same service, with the hymns which carried a theme. I would go home and try to read them again and again. They spoke to me. Although I knew some of the hymns and their meanings from school, those I could not understand before were now making sense. I soon became maybe the youngest member then of the Bible class. It was a jolly old group led by Mr. Farrell, who preceded Mrs. Daisy Brathwaite. Monthly, on the first Monday, we visited sick members or shut-ins, and we had evening prayer and fellowship with them. That was very good. Mrs. Beckles from the Bible class and the retreat movement invited me to my first retreat at Mount St. Benedict. That was a wonderful experience which I repeated for many years. There I was introduced to the daily prayers of the church, the morning prayer, Eucharist, midday prayer, and evening prayer. The combination of the readings always interested me, and I was all able to ascertain how to get a copy of the lectionary. Compline at Bedtime had its own booklet. I liked the programs, which were good for my growth, and it was restful. My first prayer book was a CPWI, which was the first experimental prayer book of the West Indian Communion. We are now in the 3rd edition, both of which contain the yearly lectionaries and very important information. Deaconess Patrick, deceased, the first female deaconess of the diocese, introduced me to old Miss Reese, who ran the Red Cross shop at the General Hospital. She did visiting for Father Mahabir, deceased, who was the hospital chaplain. I immediately became a hospital visitor with others from Trinity and the Northwest region. There was a stewardship program during my early years at Trinity, when there were groups visiting the areas within the parish boundaries. It would be interesting if this could be rekindled. The medical clinic, which was started at the Holy Trinity Cathedral in the hall by Dr. Alan Patrick, deceased, later moved to its own space on the cathedral grounds. The clinic was heavily used and much appreciated during that period, as there were not as many government clinics in and around Port of Spain. Dr. Pinder continued the clinic until it was closed down with the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. Even though I am not as active as I was before, my heart and my prayers are for the restoration of the cathedral and for the members to become so restored and motivated that there would be a meaningful outreach in the city of Port of Spain and beyond. I would like to wish the church a very happy 200th anniversary.